Okay, we're back. So, what's going on here is we have a chart to explain. We want to understand it. So, and I always like to get caught up in people caught up in the theory. I don't mean caught up in it like nervous about it. You know, I'm all caught up in this stuff. I mean literally caught up to where so we can have a discussion on this. So we have our fretboard up here. This is pretty much all that explained was pretty much what's going on the fretboard here. And then, so the next logical move is to look at this section here. We've got the shorts and the longs here. These are the patterns. So it looks like a fretboard, but it keeps stacking up. I've got plenty of stack here. It's called a stack, so I've got plenty of stack here. We've got 3, 4, 5s here, and we've got it here, and we've got it here again. So anything that stacks on top of the other thing, I've got every case of it and then some. Every possibility. Same thing with the long patterns here. Remember, the long patterns are so we can play from the open string. Okay, that would be the E shape. The A shape is and then we have the fourth is, I guess that was the A shape was from the that would be part of the C shape. And it's an interesting thing to look at it, because when we look at the C shape, we have over here 3, 4, 5, but we're starting the pattern from there. So we've got essentially our S3 extra long here. Whoop, we're still in line mode. Oh boy, sorry about that. We want to get into square mode. But you see how that line was heading for that other corner. That's how you square something off with squares. But yeah, I feel like throwing this stuff out sometimes. But it's a very important part. These are really important patterns, and they really come in handy. And you can play the long pattern even though you don't have to. If you like to just play, you know, the long pattern. Just play it instead of the short pattern there. But you'd have to have this fret space here. You can't do that from down here, so there's nothing to play. So we're looking at the long patterns, and what it is I want every possibility of the S4E stacked on top of the S3XL. So this is in general called the S3XL, but I like to refer to them individually. The AXL, the E root XL, and the C4XL. These are just extra long patterns. They're major thirds, like they're 1, 2, 3 whole steps in a row. So it's starting in 5, it's 5, 6, 7 whole step and then a half step. Root 2, 3 whole steps and then a half step. Remember, then 4, 5, 6. Remember, with guitar, if we went just one more box over, we'd have the same note. You see how 3 would go right to 4 there? So this is a half step in guitar. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets away, something like that. So we've got our pattern stack here. Every possibility: S4E, S3XL, S4E, S3XL, and then 1 for good measure. You know, that's the only reason it's stacked way up like that. You don't have to learn all of these. The only 2 that actually make a difference, that you know, I could represent the same the same pattern just by showing two of these. That's it. Because it's the S4E down here, and it's the S3XL. And that's it. Once again, it repeats. But then you wouldn't see exactly how to do the to stack the S4E on top of the S3XL. Now that's important. How do we do that? Well, it's important also to know that on the bottom of the S3XL we got 2, 3, 4. On the left side, on the top of the S3XL we've got 7 root 2. And you get used to these relationships. Where are they going to come in? They're going to change with the tuning warp, but this is the way the pattern goes. So you can look and maintain the P4 tuning. So 5 will go to root. That's a 4th. Okay, down under here, 3 would go to 6. Okay, 2 would go to 5. That's a 4th. These are 4ths. Okay, this is an augmented 4th, 4 to 7. All right, so that's part of the and these are the longer names for these ones: S1, C4XL. And then also, if we want to look at the kind of scale that we can start on each one of those. The Locrian scale starts on the 7th. So if we want to start and we want to play a Locrian F scale, we go 7 root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root 2, 3, 4. That's a Locrian scale in F. Okay, so it's our, and here's the 7th chord, but here's the diminished, half diminished, or you can call it diminished if you're not adding a 7th quality to it. So but you could call it half diminished. Okay, because let's look at it. When we go to full diminished, okay, that's taking it out of the mode. And you know, so we don't want to call the triad the diminished triad. We'll call it the half diminished, even though it's the same 3 notes. And then the Phrygian, we could just start on the C shape. So you see right there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root 2, up to 3 there again. Aeolian, you start on the 6th note. Now you can start on any note and just call it the 6th. So if we want to play an A minor Aeolian, you start on the A dot. Okay, don't worry. Remember, my guitar's like offset here. So this is the fret nut. This would be the G dot. This is the A dot, and this is the A note. So if you want to play an Aeolian there, you play the 6, 7 root, the G pattern there, diatonic, 6, 7 root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these, you know, this is why we have the names next to each one of them. That's in the key of C, but I could just as easily play an Aeolian scale from there without even worrying about not being able to play the whole 6-string pattern. See, this is it. If we want to go from 6 on all the way up in the long patterns, we will do the right thing. So with the Aeolian or the G pattern, let's say we're going to play a Aeolian, E as in Aeolian, which would be in the key of G. Here's our G, right? Okay, so we're going to play this Aeolian E minor here. It would be 6, 7 root 2, 3, 4, but then we have to go into the long pattern, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2. That took us right into what? What did it take us into? Well, we started on the G pattern, 6, 7 root, and we went from G, 6, 7 root. Okay, then we went 7 root 2, right? 7 root 2 is the E pattern. So that was it. G went to E as in cage, C-A-G-E. So that worked. That's the part of the chart that has the long patterns, and we have the short pattern stack. So now we've learned about this. See how these charts have a lot to cover? And we learned about this. We used this before.